Hello family, I hope you're all well. Let's start today's video. Actually, our society is really downgrading badly. So what happens is that I was reading the 12 Rules of Life for Jordan Peterson's book 12 Rules of Life, and in that one it says like you quickly become, without rules we become slaves to our passion, and there is nothing freeing about that. I would say without God we become slave of our passion, and the good example of that one is this Bonnie Blue woman, that she bedded 1057 men in 12 hours. And it's disgusting. I mean, not only about her, it's not just for her, it's also that 1000 men as well. It's not like she had time to shower before each of them or sanitize. I mean, how many diseases did she collect it from each of them and passed it on? She doesn't care about herself. Do you think she will care about anyone? How on earth would someone be able to share one woman with another 1,000 men? Like, it is horrible. Look at what she says.
The big 1000 was completely done. So it started off, I'll give you a bit of an overview.
If you've noticed, she is completely lifeless. Like when I see her photos or videos, she's talking, but there is no emotion. And it's basically against God. There is demonic element to it. So this is where it happened. The black balloons. Look at these paintings in the background. It's just like, it's so disgusting. And for her to have no emotional reaction to what did he do is completely beyond. Like, look at her. She is like soulless. Every time she talks to her, she's talking, but it's not connecting. Like, there was another woman. She's did the same with 100 men, but
intense.
Like more intense than you thought it might.
Definitely.
You can see it is affecting her, and it was only been 100, but still you can see the emotional reaction to all that scar that it leaves to your soul. But the other one is like completely gone, is like integrated, and there is a demonic element to it. It is like there is God, there is light and there is darkness, and you either choose light, and without light it's all darkness, no matter what you choose. If you completely eliminate God from your life, then you are slave of money, lust. And need I remind you, the fallen angels that came on earth, that liked the woman, this is what they came to do. There's another very interesting video which talks about non-human aspect of this, because it's like those serial killer stories that you see, that they do not have any emotional connection. So like if you remove the moral compass of God, like thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not kill and all that, then you're left with your own choices. And if you think it's okay to go around doing that, and she is also encouraging husbands to cheat and all that, so it's all attack on God. And let's watch this video. It's like Kep's reaction to another video, and I'm reacting to his video.
Extremely demonic. Let's listen.
That's how they consummate the video. There are some porn stars who have been open in saying that they're witches. They practice it openly. Openly. They've declared it that they do witchcraft and they practice it. And one of the biggest deceptions that some of our believers who are naive, they will never acknowledge, and they don't believe this, is that some of those porn stars that you're watching, I tell you this as a spiritual person, they're not porn stars. They're not humans. They're Marines. No, they weren't generated by AI. They weren't a being, but a celestial one.
So when he first said marines, he's talking about a marine spirit, which we could go super, super deep into that idea about how demons need water. And there's biblical ties that people can make about why that's the case. Specifically, you can see the scripture where Jesus talks about the man who is basically like the parable of the person who had a demon or a strong man, and that demon got kicked out of the house, the body of that individual, and that demon was wandering around through dry and waterless places until he could find another home. So we're not going to go super deep into that topic right now, but it's just interesting, man. There's interesting connections here. So let's listen more to what he has to say about these people who might not be humans all the time, but are celestial beings.
Footballers you meet in the streets, rappers you meet in the streets, artists you meet in the streets. That woman will never be seen anywhere by anyone except from that screen and the directors that were present. For what purpose would a marine be the actor in porn? They're all humans. How many of you verified to be human? And then what happens is you watch that video, and after you watch that video and you ejaculate, the incubus spirit, it requires semen. So that semen was a sacrificial lamb you gave to that marine goddess that was on the screen. And then suddenly, 3 years down the line, you have to go to the hospital, they tell you that your soldiers are low. Or to that sister who was so engulfed by her sexual fantasy, she continually masturbated on those websites. 4 years down the line, she's barren. Why am I barren? Because you already gave us your womb. That wasn't just a man that you were watching. He was a warlock. He belonged to another kingdom. He's not just an artist who's being paid. And you start to wonder some of those sexual expressions they have, how they use expressions like wet. And you just assume that wet is because of what's happening to them there in the hut. They know more than you know because they know where they live. You see, all of this now, there's going to be a 16-year-old on TikTok saying he's a liar, this doesn't happen. And those are the same people, they come to their first year of university and they rape someone. And some of those people, it's just that most times people never have a chance to talk to the one that was victimized. We hear from the victim, we never hear from the person that's raping. Some of those people, they can tell you, I never intended on doing that to that woman. Something came on.
There is where everything is.
So he's about to share a clip of a guy who I think is like going to confess to committing that sort of crime. Here's another interesting thing I'll tell you. So there's a really good documentary called Operation Toussaint. I'll pull up the image for you. Here it is, Operation Toussaint. Hopefully it's not. Okay. So this is on Amazon Prime. I actually recommend that you go check this out. This is a documentary chronicling Tim Ballard, who runs this organization called Operation Underground Railroad. And they go and they rescue kids that are caught up in sex trafficking. Great documentary. You got to go watch it. Just go watch that documentary. But what's really interesting is in this documentary, they're interviewing, or I won't say they're interviewing, but they're helping the viewer understand, okay, so let's say they catch some of these bad guys, they do these sting operations, they catch these pedos and whatever, and they ask them, how on earth did you get to this place of like becoming so low and degrading yourself and debasing your own mind that you thought it was okay to go and buy a child to do you know what with? And they said commonly what happens is these people, they start off just watching normal PORN, normal in regards to like heterosexual PORN. And so they do that, and then at some point that just doesn't do it for them anymore, and they got to go to like something else, or watch somebody who's younger or barely legal, and then that doesn't do it for them. So then they got to go to teens, and then even children, and then at some point it's like not even enough to watch it. Like you got to go get the real thing yourself, and it sounds super demonic because it is. I think we underestimate how the devil can absolutely get a foothold in your life by what you're watching and what you're consuming through your phone, what you're letting through your eye gate and your ear gate. These are all access points into your soul, into your body. So as this individual is sharing this to me, that whole concept is not very surprising to me at all. I want to play the rest of what he's got going on here, but before I do that, I want to share with you some scripture. So here's what it says in Hebrews chapter 13, verse 2. It says, don't forget to show hospitality to strangers, for some who have done this have entertained angels without realizing it. So the Bible actually encourages us as Christians to not minimize or play off the idea that every single encounter that you have, whether it's at an airport or you're traveling or down the street or whatever, that every single person that you're talking with or just brushing by is just a human being. The Bible actually would want to communicate, God himself would want to communicate to us that he sends angels, messengers, oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes disguised as human beings. That's why it says, don't forget to show hospitality to everybody, to strangers, for some who have done this have entertained angels without even realizing it. That's a pretty wild thought, but think about, what are demons? Demons are actually fallen angels. Demons actually originally were angels who worshiped God and helped, they served God in heaven, and then they all followed Satan, who was this chief angel who was cast down to earth for his pride and his rebellion. And then you had all of these angels who followed suit. They became demons. And so if this is possible for angels, why wouldn't it also be possible for demons? Let me show you some other scripture. 2 Corinthians 11, verse 14. It says, but I am not surprised. Even Satan disguises himself as an angel of light. What does this mean? It means that the devil's not going to come to you with a pitchfork and like a red jumpsuit. He's going to come to people pretending to be everything that you would want in life. He wants to come to you as an angel of light. So if Satan is able to do this, why wouldn't other demons be able to shapeshift to deceive people as well? This part's gonna really blow your mind. You probably heard of this. Genesis chapter 6, verses 1 through 4. Okay, this is chronicling a time when people that God created actually started sleeping with demons, and then they kind of created this like super like just perverted demigod race, basically. This is in the Bible. Genesis chapter 6, verses 1 through 4. Then the people began to multiply on the earth, and daughters were born to them. The sons of God saw the beautiful women, and the sons of God, by the way, is speaking of these messengers, these angelic beings, saw the beautiful women and took any they wanted as their wives. Then the Lord said, my spirit will not put up with humans for such a long time, for they are only mortal flesh. In the future, their normal lifespan will be no more than 120 years. In those days, and for some time after, giant Nephilites, or the Nephilim, lived on the earth. For whenever the sons of God had intercourse with women, they gave birth to children who became the heroes and famous warriors of ancient times. So when you see all these different mythologies, Greek mythology talking about, you know, these demigod sorts of people, or these giant, like literally a race of giants, this is a biblical reality that is referring to when these demonic beings were having intercourse with humans. We also, I don't know if you've seen this, but and you can testify in the comments. You guys are doing such a good job, by the way, if you follow my channel, of testifying what Jesus has done and delivered you from in the comments. It's really important for people to see, because don't take my word for it.
In the demon used to be. I don't hear it. Right. Ended up pointing fingers.
So he's like drawing the experience he had, encountering this demon.
And now, the demon sits here. And it still tries to get out. So I'm the demon.
At this point, Dennis is now proclaiming that the demon took over, and during the moments that he could not remember, the demon was in control.
Because I can see her stomach.
All right, so she obviously didn't have any clothes on.
No, she had clothes on.
Well, she must not have had clothes on here.
Well,
See her stomach.
I don't know, maybe I don't know. I know she was wearing a makeup.
Okay.
And that's when I blinked out. I remember when I left.
All right, let's not for a second.
I don't remember.
You don't remember having sex with her. That's something you normally forget?
Not normally, no. But this was not normal. This was when I was extremely upset. And I broke. I felt so calm with forcefully raping that woman. As horrific as it is, it's not to justify them. But there's another evil spirit that empowered them
I believe
to
that.
commit that horrible order from Sodom. And it's because of the many fantasies that they never take.
I will add the link below if you wanted to see the full video. It's quite interesting. So for me, like I was watching, and it's like rape has become so common in our world, and also it's becoming more and more violent as well. Some cases that came like nearby, that after raping her, they inserted objects or killing the victim, burning them, or like this child trafficking which is happening around the world.
Yes. Tell me about that. No.
This suspect has been on the run for 19 years, but in 15 seconds, he's gonna lose control for the first time.
There's two sides to every story. There is no other side to the story. If you were to see her, I think you would be extremely proud of her. I really do. She's alive. She's alive. She's alive. Let me tell you
Okay, so this is the case where this guy, I said an 8-year-old, and then cut her from ear to ear and left her to die in the field. And then after 20 years, she didn't die and she was alive. And after 20 years, they finally caught the guy because technology progressed and they could do DNA testing and all that. So, and they caught the guy. And when they told him that she's alive, he's crying. See his reaction? He is actually crying, which means like if he is so sad that he could feel the pain and he is sorry and all that, if he is a human being with a heart and soul, what made him a monster to do such a thing 20 years ago? Was he doing it? Was he acting it on his own? Obviously he was under the influence. He was drinking and smoking, so you know the drinks are called spirits. And he did such an awful act to that child. Luckily she survived. But then it comes back to that demonic aspect of it. So I strongly believe that we are not alone in this world. Yeah, so let me know in the comment section, do you agree that all of this is not wrong, but there is something more than human that is behind all that? And let me know what you think. Do you agree or do you disagree? And with the rate that these things are happening, I just want Jesus to come back. Please look at him. He's wearing like a cross just to like make Christians more and more angry. It's just to mess up people's mind. So just like to say, stay safe. And this porn being so available is the reason that our children are not safe anymore, that women are not safe anymore. Just waiting for Jesus to come back and free this world is gone crazy. Anyway, that's all for this video. I just hope and pray that you and your family are safe. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.